Okay, time for a letter. It's letter number 6, I think. Bit of grammar here, bit of vocab. I'll talk you through the changes that I would make. Now, as I was talking about in video 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, if you've seen them, and I hope that you have done, is what I'm doing. I'm not looking at the case notes. I'm not comparing them to the notes. Now, there's a very good reason why, and if you think about it, you can probably see in real life, the recipient of any letter that you might send would not have those case notes to compare your letter with. Of course, they would not. They would simply have the letter that you sent them. Now, as I've said, and if you've seen some other videos, kind of Jay on E2 and Steve and from OET and Rebecca, etc., they will tell you exactly the same. You've got to put yourself in the shoes of the recipient. Imagine you're the reader, you're reading this at first time, go through it line by line. And if it makes sense to you, or if you give it to your husband or, your kind of wife or a friend of yours and say, look, just read like this. Is it clear and plain? Does it have a logical flow going through sentence by sentence? Regardless of the medical jargon and terminology, just in terms of language features and in terms of does it have a logical flow? And if you think and they say yeah, then it's a good one. If it's not clear of some sentences that you're not sure what is going on or how that works, then the answer is no, it's not a very good letter. Okay, so this is what I recommend now. Instead of comparing it to the notes, etc., I mean, that's the content part, really, But what we are concerned with here is that logical flow, because I have seen a lot of you write letters and there's, information is mixed up, it's jumbled, there's things that are dropped in that don't make sense. So that's what we have to try and cure, as it were, you of. Okie doke. So let's have a look at that. Okay, so we've got the reference line. Okay, you don't have to have both. You can do, but you don't really need it. Usually it's name, age, occupation, but the first thing, why do you have a relative pronoun? Whose? Well, we don't need a comma. It's not a non-defining relative clause. You can put it there, a 45-year-old factory worker, but you don't actually need it. But the main thing is, it's who, not whose. It's not possessive. Who has been diagnosed with DM. Now, I keep saying this sentence, I keep telling you, what do you put this for? Your further assessment and management plan would be appreciated. Appreciated by whom? All you've got to do, I'm writing to request your further assessment and management plan for Mr. Collister, who has been diagnosed with DM. Then, if you've got the age there, okay, then you can talk about this factory worker in the background. If you have to include it, you don't actually need to, but, there's more than one way, but you don't really need this. Your further assessment and management plan would be appreciated. Simply, I'm writing to request your further assessment and management of Mr. Collister, who's been diagnosed with DM. Now, I would spell out abbreviations for the first usage. That's what I would do. Regarding past, well, of course it's past. If it's a history or if it's a background, of course it's in the past. And we need an article, background, and that would be one word. Background, it's a noun, so we would need an article. Regarding the medical, or just say, regarding his medical, Mr. Collister's medical history. Now, medical background, okay, he's overweight, right. Now, you don't really need to say he's overweight, that's a value judgment. You're not supposed to do it, you're supposed to say how much he actually weighs and what his BMI is. So, he is, what was it? In kilograms, isn't it? So he is 90, kilograms with a BMI of blah, 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 blah. Now, he has had. Now, if it's finished, it's had. If he still has it today, present perfect. But I think it's finished. So, he had, so in 2006, that was finished. History of sore throat, left shoulder and right knee pain. Now, so you're writing to me about diabetes. Okay, so what are you telling me about his painful knee? Why do you think I would need that? Would that be irrelevant? Maybe. Sore throat, but still, you've got to think, you are writing to like me, asking me to sort this guy out. He's got type 2 diabetes, and you're telling me about his aching knee and his shoulder. Do we really need it? Okay. Mr. Costa presenter, blah, blah, complaints of feeling tiredness. No, it's either of complaints of tiredness or feeling tired. And occasional dizziness due to low blood pressure. So, now, with the complaints, would he say, I'm dizzy because of my low blood pressure? He probably wouldn't. You would probably find that out afterwards. So he actually came and complained and said, I'm tired, I'm dizzy, I've got a lack of energy and like pain, blah, blah, blah. And then, upon investigation, you would find it was due to low blood pressure. And you would put that later. Unless he measures his own blood pressure, I don't know if he does, but it would be kind of strange. Oh, doctor, I'm really tired, I'm so dizzy because of my low blood pressure. Maybe he took his own blood pressure, but more than likely, he presented and said, oh, doctor, I'm so kind of tired, blah, 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 blah. And you take a look, you take his blood pressure, and, you would take some action. So, usually, a visit is what the patient said, what you found, what you did. The patient comes, I'm so tired, you take a look at him, examine him, have some tests, you find out, and you take some action. Okay, that's usually how it works. That's for the logical components. So if we look at this one here, in addition, he reported. Now, lack of energy. Is it the same as something? Because it's virtually identical though. Feeling tired, lack of energy, it's pretty similar. But why is it two separate sentences? I mean, why wouldn't you have all the complaints grouped in a single sentence, right? Complaining, feeling tired and dizzy, lack of energy and pain in the eyes. Now, I'm not sure, again, I'm not looking at the notes, but I'm not sure if the pain in the eyes is over the last 2 to 3 weeks or all the symptoms are over the last 2 to 3 weeks. It's not clear in this. If you came with a 2-week history of tiredness and dizziness, lack of energy and pain in the eyes, if you put the date at the start, right, here, then with a 2-week history of, then we would know that all the symptoms have been in play for the last 2 to 3 weeks. But because you have done it here, it looks like it's only the pain in the eyes, which I'm not sure. So, again, the reader would not have any notes to compare it to. So it's got to be clear. And from the way that this sentence has been written, it's not very clear. So I would put all the symptoms in a single sentence. Why, in addition, why wouldn't he simply say, I'm tired, dizzy, I've got no energy, and I've got pain in my eyes? That's what he would do. So he's been trying to lose his weight. What? All of it? I don't think so. Trying to lose some weight. He's not been trying to lose all. Trying to lose some weight, but because of his busy working schedule, children need problems, not able wasn't able to pay proper attention on recommended exercises at all. Recommended by whom? So, right, again, this is what I'm talking about, right? You've put things in here to the reader, right? Recommended by whom? Recommended by you? What? So he came to see you before and you advised him to do some exercises? So it's not clear. This is what you've got to think about, right? If you were reading this, is it clear? I've got no notes. I'm not going to call you up. I've just got this document, right? And it's not clear to the reader. So, who recommended the exercises? Where did you say anything about, so you mentioned he's overweight, okay, but you didn't tell me by how much, just his BMI. Where's the exercises from? So, it's just, I've got no idea where this has come from. Blood investigation and glucose level what? Level tests, presumably, were arranged. Upon review today, Mr. Covester complained of decreased vision. Along with the previous symptoms, his weight has reduced. Well, it's not reduced itself. He has lost 4 kilograms, so his weight cannot reduce itself. So he has lost. In other words, he has lost kilograms in weight, and his BMI, grammatically complete sentences, is 28.4. But this now, in light of the above, then you make your request. And we usually say in view of the above. In view of the above, I would appreciate it if you could. This is where you make your request. Not in light of the above Mr. Collister has. So you would say, in view of the above, my provisional diagnosis is diabetes, etc. You do it like that. Okay? I would appreciate it if you could evaluate and prepare a treatment plan. So this is kind of mixed up. We've got 2 separate things here. So, in view of the above, my provisional diagnosis is blah, 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 blah. I would appreciate it if you could. Okay? So you have to do it like that. So, I would appreciate it if you could assess, evaluate and treat Mr. Collister. So we need something, some sentence that talks about my diagnosis is. So in view of the above, provisional diagnosis is blah 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 blah. Okay. My provisional diagnosis is diabetes type 2, and then you can usually put the I would appreciate it if you could further evaluate and provide a treatment plan. So you could do it like that, mention that, or you could do it like, in view of the above, I would appreciate it if you could evaluate. So you could put that as a separate kind of sentence, put it there. So we could rework that a little. But as you see, there's a little bit of grammar, right? Some of the sentences, the order, the organisation doesn't quite work. It's not as clear as it could be. So there's a few things to have a look at there, I think. Right, that'll do. I'll see if there's another letter tomorrow.